And welcome back to Cigar Time, your favorite TV show all about premium cigars.
Your favorite TV show?
I don't know.
See,
Well,
that's
there are no other ones, so.
Oh, well, come on now.
There are no other ones.
You don't know that.
Not on the air.
Not on the air.
You don't know that.
I do.
How?
Because I scour the internet looking for things like that.
I wonder how many freaking products sitting on the internet looking for TV shows.
That's right. No, cigar TV shows.
No, TV shows.
Boy, I'm not getting in the middle of that one.
Yeah. So, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Mr. Cutter.
He's a good poker player.
He is. Gabe Kapler.
Kaplan.
Kaplan. I'm thinking of.
He's a poker player?
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Phillies.
yeah. I'm thinking of Phillies
Phillies.
manager. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no,
Ex-manager.
Gabe Kaplan's a very
Gabe
good
Kapler.
poker
Oh, very good poker player.
did
He
not
actually,
know that.
Yeah.
he's professional. He actually announced a lot of shows, too. Is he still with us?
I
don't know.
think so.
He's still around.
All right,
Is he?
Google him.
I can't.
Well,
My phone's being used.
Well, you don't want to kill him either.
That's Art. Whoever Art looks up on IMDb, they die within 2 weeks. You laugh.
That's a curse.
That's
the
true.
curse.
That's
it's
true.
For real.
I haven't been feeling good recently, so maybe.
You're not on
Are you
IMDb.
on IMDb?
You don't know that.
Yes, I do.
How?
Because I do spend a lot of time on IMDb.
Do you now?
To the extent that this is a show about cigars,
Yeah.
we should mention what we're smoking here
Oh.
today.
This,
Okay.
this is a show about nothing. Oh, wait, you probably can't
No,
say
somebody
Can't-
owns that.
Somebody owns
that. You
that.
can't
yeah.
say that. Hey, delete that, will you? Edit it.
We are smoking a diesel.
A diesel
What is it?
whiskey row.
This was the first one
Indeed.
we carried, I think.
Yep. Well, and this is the first of the whiskey rows,
Available
you know,
outside
that
of
became a
Smiley
whole
Face.
series of things
Yeah, it's made by AJ Fernandez
for forged.
for Forged. He
Um,
used to make them for
Somebody else.
someone else, but now Forged has it. I don't want to say who the other one was, but
You know,
I'm sure you can figure it out.
I've
The
been paying a
evil
lot
empire.
more attention to the foot and the head of the cigar, and I've come to the conclusion that, like, they all smell the same to me.
well, then you don't have a very discriminating nose.
I
This
don't think I
smells-
do.
This smells absolutely delicious.
Also, everything smells like hay, and I can't pick anything else up, and it bothers
This
me.
doesn't smell like hay at all.
Not even a little bit.
Actually, no, this
I
one I'm
smell
getting
the
the sweet
whiskey in it.
tobacco.
This
does.
cigar is made, created in collaboration with Rabbit Hole Distillery, who makes a whole collection of really good bourbons and a bunch of rye also. So this is a legitimate whiskey row, we'll say. The blend is Ecuador Habano for the wrapper. Interestingly, San Andres Mexican Maduro binder.
Really?
And that is the part of this cigar that's barrel aged in Rabbit Hole whiskey barrels, which is where the whole concept comes
See,
from.
right there is testament to what we've been saying, is that they're spending a lot more time using the binder
Binder.
for flavor.
For flavor. Well, this is,
Absolutely.
yes, you're right. This is a prime example of that. So the rest of the cigar is 3 different regions in Nicaragua, including Ometepe, which is always a nice thing when you get it. For those of you that don't know, Ometepe is an island in the middle of Lake Nicaragua. It's an active volcanic island, and there are a couple of small tobacco plantations on the island, and the tobacco is extraordinary because right at the foot of the volcano you have the richest soil you could possibly imagine.
They grow anything else there?
No.
That you know of?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I'm sure there's some stuff that occurs there by itself, but no commercial propagation of anything there.
Is there houses there? Are there houses there?
Haciendas.
There are some small huts where the plantation workers live.
That's it?
Yeah, it's not like a populated.
So it's not like a resort area?
No, there's no towns.
It's a volcano.
It's an active.
So is Hawaii.
Well, they have to be
Hawaii's
careful.
a little bigger.
They have to be careful on that, because if they jump in the water, there are freshwater sharks.
There are that's an interesting fact about Lake Nicaragua. It used to be connected to the ocean, and millions
Why
of
did he
years
take him on
ago.
fact for his own? I say it, and he's stealing it, taking it, making it as if
He's giving
he
you the
brought it
story.
up.
I'm giving color behind your statement
I
of
was
fact.
about to say all that.
Well, go, please.
No, I didn't know it.
You didn't know it.
I give up.
So again,
So anyway,
was part of the ocean.
It was part of the ocean,
I'm just going to
and
sit down here and let the three of you go today.
and millions of years ago, when the plain that area was in rose up and trapped the water that became Lake Nicaragua, some of the sharks were trapped there too, and they evolved to be able to live in the fresh water. So it's one of the very few places you can find freshwater sharks.
Was it? It was freshwater, but connected to the ocean.
No, it was
All
the
salt
ocean.
water?
It was part of the ocean,
Oh.
and then the land mass rose some.
And miraculously changed it to freshwater.
Gradually, over time, it becomes
Yeah.
fresh water.
Really?
The salt water leaches out, rainwater comes in, and
Howard
groundwater, none of
gets
which is
diluted.
salty.
I'm not.
it like didn't happen over the weekend.
No, it happened over millions of years.
Exactly.
I would think, and this is going to sound like I'm questioning you, and I'm not. But I would think that like
How
from-
dare you.
From the evaporation, that it would create more it would create
In the
more
very short
salt.
term, yes. In the very short term, but because it's an area that gets a lot of rain and a lot of runoff, it's constantly getting more water, even
So
though there's evaporation.
And I guess one of the reasons that the sharks can adapt it is because it happened over like more than just a weekend, like a week or so, maybe a month.
Maybe even a whole month. So the sharks had a chance to reproduce a bunch of times. And
Right.
the male sharks were very happy during that month
Yeah.
because they were reproducing like crazy.
Look at that. Millions of years, huh?
When I
How do they know?
remember it?
How do they know? John knows. John remembers.
when I was in Nicaragua back in February, we drove past. You could see the volcano. I don't remember if we actually saw the lake or not, and I don't know if it was this volcano, but one of them was spouting or not. I mean, it wasn't lava.
That was
flying out, but
probably
smoke.
the
smoking.
volcano called Messiah, which is on the mainland but near the edge of the lake. And that's a bigger volcano that's kind of active all the time. And there is a lot of tourism to that one.
Like Joe
fact-
versus the volcano. That's where they went.
Yeah, that's where Joe is from.
Don't they have the most active volcanoes of anywhere?
I believe there are more active volcanoes in Nicaragua than any other single country. Messiah is an interesting volcano in that it smokes all the time, kind of like me.
Well, Mount.
And that's why they
call
grow
it
tobacco there as an offering to the
Mount
Messiah.
Major. You should call it Mount Major.
There are a few very
That's
small
just wrong. Think about what
cigar
you said.
factories around Messiah. And I think I told you a story about a guy who I know from there. Juan Flores is his name.
I remember you talking about.
He has a
Flores.
little cigar factory in Messiah.
That's not the guy who used to work for Believer, is it?
PDR.
Not the same guy.
That's Abe.
So this guy, he used to buy wrapper tobacco from me. That's how I got to know him. But we became buddies, and he used to call me all the time. He didn't speak any English, but he would tell me that I had to come and visit his club. He wanted me to come hang out in his club. And I always had other stuff going on, but I finally asked him, tell me what's with this club. And he says, in Spanish, of course, es un club de chicas sin ropas, which means a club for women without clothes. So what he was asking me to come
a strip
to
club.
is a strip club that he owns
Yeah.
in the tourist area near the foot of Messiah.
Can I point something out?
Please.
We haven't talked about cigars.
No.
No.
Even we have set a record.
I haven't lit my cigar yet.
This is the longest Paul's gone on this show without lighting a cigar. I was getting worried for you, Paul.
No,
not even
I was
cut
getting
yet.
worried for me too, so I'm
It's
going to
been
light
10
up.
minutes,
That's about as long as I ever go without smoking.
other than when you're sleeping.
See, I'm good until like I don't smoke a lot in the morning. It depends on the morning, but I can go all day. until once I light that first cigar, it's like breaking the seal at an Eagles game. It's like I got it. Like, I like light one cigar with the next, not literally, but
That's hard to
I
do.
go
It
in,
is very
I
hard.
go in
I've
and get
tried.
my
Me
shower.
too. Huh?
I go in and get my shower. Pot of coffee's already started. I come out, get a cup of coffee, grab a cigar, light it up before I pack up my stuff to leave.
really,
Yep,
You
every
smoke
day.
in your house?
Yeah.
I know you smoke downstairs.
No, I smoke in my
So I've
bedroom.
done that.
I smoke in my bedroom.
Lucky
Do you
man.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I smoke in the bedroom. I smoke in the kitchen.
for
I
her
smoke
bread's
a whole,
butter.
anywhere in the house I want.
If I was smoking in the house, I'd probably be closer to 20 a day than 12.
Wow.
And also single.
And also
when I was
single.
I actually
After yesterday, he may be.
I used to smoke I had an apartment in Bryn Mawr, and I used to smoke there all the time.
In
And
fact,
I had a fan sucking everything out. And I didn't think it smelled at all until somebody who was a nut came in and like, like what?
I used to smoke in my townhouse in North Wales. Yeah, it was not good. Everything smelled. My clothes smelled. It was horrible. So I stopped. Once I moved, because you're not getting the smell out of that house.
This is good.
It is good.
What would you like? What strength you guys?
Mild and medium.
Yeah, I'd probably just give it a 2,
Two, yeah.
2.5.
2.5 maybe.
Yeah.
Definitely a 2, not a 2.5. 2.
I'm getting some pepper from it too. I don't know about you guys.
I get some pepper, and I really taste the bourbon. You can literally
It's a
taste the
hint.
whiskey.
I'm getting a hint of that flavor. I'm not getting a lot of it, but there is an alcohol
It's
taste.
not
to it.
overpowering, but it's the predominant flavor so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a sweetness going on, and maybe that's the bourbon.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm getting pepper or not.
Oh, yeah.
But when you say pepper, I think you have to better define it because
It's
there's
white.
so many
white
different.
Pepper. White pepper, not a black pepper.
It's tingle on the tongue, but not the front tip
You know,
either.
I
No,
think
right.
It's a little farther back.
Further back, right?
Yes, I think most of the pepper we get is not black pepper, but something else. Either
Cayenne?
I was going to say cayenne, white pepper, red pepper. I have those jars in the store with all kinds of spices. There's like 30 of them with different spices and stuff, so you can try and figure out what you're tasting. And I was going through the peppers yesterday, and I'm like, yeah, black peppers, like other than like a Dom Pepin, I don't know if I get a lot of black pepper from cigars. I mean, there's some, but most times when we're talking about that, I think it's like a
It's
white pepper.
white or red.
Yeah.
In my experience, is white pepper has a stronger pepper flavor than black. Black. That's why black's so popular and used so heavily in cooking, is because it imparts a flavor, but is not as strong as white or as red.
So
And-
you're
and
not,
I'm
you're
not
not
saying
saying
it's
it's
strong.
hotter,
I'm not-
stronger
right.
flavor.
Yes, I'm
That
not.
was going to be my question. Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a hot or overpowering flavor. It's just stronger than black.
Okay.
Yeah.
Meaning you're going to taste it more than you will the black.
Correct.
Like black, I guess you're saying blends in with the food more than.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That makes sense.
So usually when I taste it, I'm using that as my barometer. And this, I'm getting a lot more pepper than I normally would. So I would say that it's a white pepper taste.
I put black pepper on everything.
I put it on French fries.
So do
I can't think
I
of
love
anything
black
that
So
it
do I.
wouldn't
Love black
be
pepper
good
on
on.
French fries.
What did he say about that?
Well, she watches me and shakes her head.
We were talking earlier. I brought up that how much better French wines are than Italian, and most people agree. But I've been watching a lot of
So not true.
documentaries and stuff on wines. I'm like Jones for it, and we got to talking about blending because I said I kind of feel it's a little bit like cheating that you have a Merlot that's not 100% Merlot. It's got part, I think is it Cabernet?
Yep.
And Merlot, and there's one other that a small amount. And then Paul, you brought it. Go ahead. Would you?
Well, I said it's a lot like Scotch or cigars, for that matter.
Yes, and
that people have an attitude about single malt versus blended Scotch, just as an example. But the fact is, a single malt Scotch can only taste the way its ingredients taste. And a blended Scotch can have infinite complexities if a good blender is working on it. You know that some blended Scotches have more than 100 different Scotches combined in them?
Really?
Yeah.
So again, it feels like cheating. But then you pointed out cigars do that. And I agree, and I've often said I think there needs to be, like, there's a standard for bourbon, there's a standard for champagne and other things, and I've often thought that there should be a standard for a cigar, because you can have a Honduran cigar that's a Nicaraguan Puro. So a cigar is classified based on where it's made,
As
and
opposed
not-
to what's in it.
What's in it, right?
Yeah, and I've always thought, and I'm not talking about a government regulation, but an industry standard. I don't. Any thoughts on that?
Yes. We don't have standards for sizes, let alone something like that.
Yeah, that's
Sizes-
really true. There are so many names for different sizes that the name of a size almost doesn't mean anything anymore.
Because you can get a Toro, which is usually a 6x50. It could be 6x52, 6x54.
But it has a
Six
it
and a
has
half.
it has a range.
So, so why can't it have your? But you're saying it's got to be exact.
Well, either that or not exact, but like if how can you call a cigar Honduran if it's got all Nicaraguan tobacco in it?
Because it comes
Or
from
vice versa?
Because it comes from Honduras.
Well, it doesn't. But that's when customers come in and ask for a Honduran cigar. We're not looking for one that's made in Honduras. We're looking for one
Just
that
to
has
has
Honduran
Honduran
tobacco.
tobacco in it. I get it.
But it gets, it's maybe it's not necessarily confusing to us, but I think for a lot of consumers, it's like, what are you talking about?
Well, you know, this is part of an evolution in the industry, and it's a very long-term one. And remember, we're talking about an industry that's 500 years old. But more and more, there's been like a globalization effect on the cigar industry. In the past, a Honduran cigar was made with Honduran tobacco because countries weren't trading tobacco from country to country. A factory in Honduras was using local tobacco that was grown in Honduras. A factory in Nicaragua, the same, and so on. And it's in more recent, I won't say really recent, but maybe in the last 50 years, countries are trading tobacco all the time. So where it came from becomes less and less relevant over time.
Right.
Well, it's. I don't think it's relevant at all.
Well, it is only to the extent that some traditional rolling and blending techniques are particular to each country.
But okay, so you have a company like General who has facilities in Nicaragua and Honduras.
Well, they make everything the same way in all of their factories because they're
Right.
gigantic.
Right. So that I guess what I'm saying is, so then they're making it the way General wants, not the way they've been brought up in Honduras or in
that's
Nicaragua.
true.
Right.
In the bigger, newer factories, that's the case.
You keep yourself up at night thinking of this?
I do.
Well, I
No,
will
we
say,
got time
I will
to
say
fill.
one thing about
We
this
got time to
cigar.
fill, bro.
I will say one thing about this cigar. It does not pass the pinch test.
Mine's not bad.
Mine's
a
borderline.
little soft, but not really.
Mine's burning room.
Well, that too.
Mine's user error.
No. I think after all these years, I got it down.
I say that all the time, but it's never user error. It's the roller error.
No, it's not.
It's occasionally user error.
Ah,
You see people
it's-
light their cigar and
Well,
they're
that's
burning
true,
more
yeah.
of the bottom and not the end.
But okay, so let's talk about that then. It's not user error. I mean, sometimes it is, but it's Mother Nature's error. I mean, she decides whether. I mean, it's the wrapper and the binder that's controlling it. A little bit of filler, so I can't really think you can blame it on the roller.
Can we say Mother Nature anymore?
I don't know.
Person nature, parent nature.
I don't know how she identifies.
Wait a second.
I don't
Wait a
know,
second.
I don't know
We
how
can
Mother
say
Nature
that.
identifies.
We can
so-
say that. We're a bunch of old guys.
That's a good point.
Ah, we should change the name of this still.
I mean, Scott's probably the youngest one
bunch of
here.
old guys.
The name of the show?
You're probably the youngest one
Old
here.
Guys Talking?
He is the youngest one here.
That should be the name of the show.
I am.
Old
but
Guys
I'm
Talking.
not nearly as young as you think I am.
Well, you're close to us, but you're not. You're not.
Most
Well,
people,
are we
You're not
talking-
60 yet,
would
are you?
guess,
Are
most
we
people would
talking
guess I'm like
chronological
45.
age,
Huh?
or are we talking emotional age?
Oh, emotional. I'm still a teenager.
Like 12.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we all
Okay.
think we're teenagers.
Oh, men
Until we
don't-
go do
mo-
something, the
most
body goes,
men
"No,
don't-
you're not."
Most men don't mentally mature past 20.
I hit
Oh
23.
no!
but
I waited till
stopped
I was
there.
35 before I matured.
What were we talking about? I don't know. I'm old,
The
I
pinch
forget.
test.
Pinch test. Really?
We started out with that, yes.
Do we have other comments about, initial comments about the cigar?
Initial, the show's
I think
almost
it's
over.
I think it's smooth. I think it's very smooth.
Well, I started late. I'm trying to catch
has
up.
I am enjoying this cigar. It's very tasty.
Yes.
And the flavors I think are
They're there, but they're not overpowering.
yes, they're very. I was gonna say they're very subtle.
Yeah.
But as they all blend together, it's a very very pleasant cigar.
It's kind of easygoing. It doesn't challenge you in any way. It doesn't get in your face, but the flavors are nice. It's easy smoking. It's not a tight draw or anything like that.
I can see this being if somebody just wants an everyday. Some people just like the same cigar all the time. I can see this being. I'm not one of them because I rarely smoke the same cigar twice in a week. But I can see this being a go-to every day. Some people who just want one cigar, I can see this being that.
You rarely smoke the same cigar twice in a week?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I usually. I'm sure I do, but it all depends on my. I look in my humidor and then I go, "Wow, there's nothing here I want." And then I go out into the big humidor, my other humidor. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I
This
rarely
is-
smoke the same cigar twice in a day, but I don't know if I could handle the same.
can't.
I mean, that's 84 different cigars
Yeah,
a
you
week.
You smoked the BX3.
Damn,
like,
you'd run out of
3.
cigars after a month.
Yeah, there wouldn't be anything in the world left to try.
This is the not the sherry. This is the whiskey row. This is like you said. You guys have been saying it's a milder cigar, but they also have a whiskey row sherry
Sherry
cask,
cask.
which is very full bodied.
It's much more full-bodied, and unlike this one, it's not just the binder, it's the binder and the wrapper are barrel-aged, and in that case, the barrel is a sherry barrel.
Right.
So it imparts a whole different array
And
of
it's
flavors.
a darker wrapper, so it's going to be sweeter naturally.
Yes.
And I picked this one because I don't like that sherry one a little bit.
It's really the first time I smoked that. I was walking my dog and I hadn't eaten anything, and I got it at the show, and I'm walking the dog, and the next thing you know, I'm ready to pass out because it was so full bodied, and I'm like, I just grabbed my dog and I'm like, let's go, we got to go back.
Everyone's
And I
that'll,
basically laid down in bed.
that'll happen that's
And you didn't
every
eat a piece of chocolate.
I didn't have any chocolate.
that'll happen every once in a while for me. I mean, it's not like I can count on like one hand or maybe one hand and one finger how many times it's happened, but it
Yeah.
does where all of a sudden you're like, what just hit me?
Exactly.
And it's not always necessarily that the cigar is so strong. That feeling is all about the ratio of various chemicals in your blood, but primarily nicotine.
Right.
So depending on what else has been going on in your body, a really mild cigar might push you over
Yes.
that edge.
Because I've smoked it since then, a few of them since then. I've
And
never
it
had that reaction, but that one, the first one was just.
Yeah, or you could.
So
you
when-
could've
when-
That's why you have
swallowed
to. You can't just judge a cigar by the first time you smoke it. You have to smoke multiple cigars
Under different
under different
circumstances.
circumstances, right?
Do you guys? I think. Now I think about it. Most customers are buying two of us. If they buy 6 cigars, they're buying
Two of each thing.
Two of each
Yeah.
thing.
It's like Noah's Ark,
Same, yeah, exactly.
and you can get them. We're having
Second time we've talked about that today. By the
It
way.
is. I thought of it as I was saying it.
When did we
We're
talk
having
about
we're having events
Oh.
with Ford, so you can get some of these cigars. When are they, Scott?
I don't know when the forged events are, but the event this week is on the 16th.
No, this is coming week. Yeah.
What's today? 14th. So
Yeah.
Friday we have an event with the lovely Veronica doo-doo, in Phoenixville with Christoph.
Put on your yarmulke.
And
It's
that's-
time for Veronica.
That's from 3 to 7. And then next week we have an event with Rocky Patel here in Horsham. It's probably 4 to 8, 2 to something. Well, pay attention to your email. You'll see.
The Rocky Patel event, by the way,
Rocky will be here.
Rocky himself in the flesh.
We'll be here. Yep.
And
All
if
kinds
you
of food.
buy a box of cigars at that
We'll
event,
sign it. Yep.
he will sign your box for you.
Yeah. I'm like, what if I had an empty box?
Of course not.
I, you think that he would like sign a boob?
I don't know.
I think it depends on
That's
the boob.
just disturbing.
Think it depends.
He could just sign my arm and he'd be good enough with me.
That's just crazy. All right, let's
That's
give
just
final. We got to give
disturbing.
final thoughts. Moose.
Oh, happy Father's Day before I forget.
Yeah, happy
Yeah.
Father's Day. When is
Yes.
it?
This Sunday.
Oh, wow.
I give it a 9.
Nah, nice.
9. It's very, very mild, very pleasant. Flavors nothing's overpowering. It's well blended.
Yep. Paul.
Still doesn't pass the pinch test, but other than that, it's all right.
Mine's perfect.
I give it an 8-9.
Okay.
If it was just a little bit stronger, I would love it.
Yeah.
And I said that wrong. If the flavors came through a little more strongly, I would love it.
Okay.
That's
I
what
really
mean.
like this. It's not offensive at all. It's got, we've all said, it's got great flavors. Again, there's not, other than that pepper, and I get a kind of a creamy feeling from the cigar. It's just a really pleasant cigar. I'm going to give it a 9.
Wow, it's a high rating for you. Just saying.
This is a mild cigar and a glass of bourbon in
Yes.
one thing.
Yeah, I think that
But it's not blended. Bourbon. No,
Bourbon
it can't
is
be.
usually.
That's right, it can't be.
Yes, it can.
yeah, you can have blended bourbons.
Oh, yeah, never mind.
It just can't be blended with anything else.
Watch the next show. You'll learn.
Can't. I have to actually work.
That's right.
What, I don't?
No.
You're right,
As for
technically.
you,
As for me, I'm enjoying this cigar. It's better than I've had in previous times. This one's really good. Maybe again, it's just the whatever's.
It's the company.
Yeah, that's right. It's the company.
anything would be better than the rest of us, so you enjoy the
Yeah,
cigar.
anything on this side of the dais. Yeah. Not really a dais. It's just a table. But anyway,
Isn't that a cigar? Deus de Gloria.
dais. Yeah, AJ makes it.
Famous
He makes
composer.
everything. He
Famous
makes everything.
composer, too. Emma.
We don't have any time, so I'm going to give this a 9. I think it's a very good cigar. I smoke it again. This would be a good golf
We
course
don't
cigar.
have time. We still got like 35 seconds.
Yeah.
Now
You
what
know,
are we going to
what
talk
does
about?
this cigar cost?
I don't know. You picked them out. Did you see how much they were when you took it out of the box?
Probably. I don't remember.
I think it's around $10.
It's right around 10 bucks.
Really?
It's like everything else is around
$8.99,
$10.
Yeah, that's a good assumption. It's around 10 bucks.
It's a middle of the road price point.
Yes. Don't forget to watch our show coming up, the CigarTIME
Show.
Outlet Show, where we'll learn about blended scotch or
Blended bourbons.
Blended bourbons. You should watch. Sit and watch. Thanks for watching. Ciao for now, everybody.
Smoke off and
Smoke
smoke
if you got 'em.
cigars.